Hello there. 'Tis me, Ellie. Look, 'tis my face even. I know quite often I am just a voice behind lots of, sharing my screen and all that kind of stuff. So today I don't know why. Maybe it's because the sun's shining. I just thought I would do a little video talking. And I'm not really sort of sharing any of my, my sites and my screenshots and all that kind of stuff. I just really wanted to do a bit of a chat, really. And, yeah, so, oh, first of all, I just have to make sure that you can see up here. Can you see what it says? Follow your dreams, they know the way. So yeah, that is basically, I suppose, what I want to say. That that you should really try and follow your dreams as much as you possibly can. It's funny, because basically the people that I know who are actually actively sort of aware of how precious life is and all that kind of stuff. They're the people like myself who have had like major kind of health problems, or or maybe something has happened to a partner or that kind of thing. And it's really sad, to be honest with you, that it takes something like that to actually make you stop and think and realize just what you have whenever you're well. And the fact that actually you're capable of doing so many things in life, and yet most of us seem to just kind of float by and not really think about what it is that we want to achieve. I mean, don't get me wrong, like whenever I was younger, I had all sorts of ideas that I thought I wanted to actually achieve, but they were all kind of work related. So, it was things like I wanted to become a counsellor, and I wanted to work in mental health. Like that was whenever I was 18 and officially diagnosed with my mental health issues. Then I started to learn a lot more about it, and that kind of then led me into the working with people who have mental health problems, and I loved it. I really did loved it. And I got on so well doing that because obviously I understood. I understood exactly what it was like for people who were suffering from depression or any kind of issue like that, where anxiety and not feeling like you were in control of your own mind, basically, and what that's like. But anyway, sorry, I digress. So yeah, all of my previous goals in life, before I became unwell, were all work related, and I worked really hard. Sorry, my glasses are a bit skewy. Maybe I'll take them off. So I worked really hard, to try and do that. I worked like I don't know how many hours. I worked like 60 hours per week at times, to try and sort out some money to pay for training. And I initially wanted to become a psychologist, and I had to go and do lots of night classes and things like that to kind of build up my education, because I left school with like 1 O-level or 1 GCSE as they would be called now. And the only reason I got that is because the teacher said that I couldn't do it. But anyway, so it took me a long time after leaving school, to actually get to the point where, you know, I could study properly, and I could, you know, I went then, did my degree, and I did my master's and all that sort of stuff. And I, you know, I trained in counselling and in psychology and all of that. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved it. I really did. And I was so excited about learning all this stuff and being able to help people. And then, bang, that was it. It was all gone. Everything that I worked for, I would say, the guts of probably 10 years at least after I left school. You know, yeah, so 10, like I spent 10 years of my life, like trying to study and trying to become, this, you know, person, who could help people. And help people, you know, through studying psychology and become a counsellor and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, I worked in mental health. I worked very hard in mental health as well. I did, you know, I worked very hard at various things to make sure that the mental health services were actually working for the service users. And, and even just that kind of caused a little bit of a problem because, you know, although that's what we're supposed to be there for, what can I say? Put it this way, the higher powers didn't seem to have the same kind of ideas as I had. I'll put it that way. So anyway, yeah, so as I said, I spent 10, probably even more than that, actually, studying and trying to become this person who could help people. And the funny thing is, I had it within me all the time. I had this ability of being able to help people within me all the time. And I didn't really know that I had it. And it was only then whenever I lost my job and my life completely fell apart. You know, I had debts coming out of my eyeballs, basically, because I was trying to pay for all of this training and I mean, I did some silly things as well. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't all about paying for training and stuff. You know, I bought things on credit cards that I didn't actually need. And, you know, I got myself into a situation where, I really thought it's impossible for me to get out of this situation. I had debts coming out of my eyeballs, as I said. I had a mortgage to pay. And the job that I thought was going to be there kind of more or less forever, not maybe that specific job, but, you know, I had never really not been able to work before. I had a few issues with my health, like my back and things like that at times, but I always thought, well, I'll always be able to work. I'll always be able to do something, you know. Working in the care industry, like you can literally get a job like within probably an hour. You know, as long as you're experienced and everything, which obviously I was. But as soon as I lost my job and I wasn't able to work, I wasn't well enough to work. Whoa, gosh, what a time I went through. I really thought my life was over. I really did, you know. I couldn't see at all how it was possible to live like without this this job that I wanted so badly, without this kind of drive or motivation that I had, you know, to help people. It was like, how could I possibly help people whenever I couldn't even help myself? And yeah, it was there is no doubt about it. It was one of the most difficult times that I have ever had in my life. And I've been through some quite difficult stuff, you know, like, as I said, being diagnosed with depression and everything, and anxiety whenever I was just a teenager, and various things sort of happening, and having a really bad car accident, and I don't know. There's so many things. I don't want to go into all that. But anyway, you know, I've been through some really, really tough times. And, yeah, that sort of time, whenever literally sort of someone's lies and, you know, lots of things sort of went on at that stage. You know, it became impossible for me to work, put it that way. I was being bullied, I was being treated badly, I was all this sort of stuff, and of course then that affected my mental health, and then my health just deteriorated a lot from there, and my body went into shutdown mode at that stage. I ended up going through early menopause, and of course then that affected my mental health even more, and I ended up, I got endometriosis, or I was diagnosed with endometriosis, and then that's sort of the hormonal part of things then was affecting my mental health, and it was a complete disaster, put it that way. And on top of all of that, I had this thing where it was like somebody removed the one thing in my life that made sense. That, you know, they removed my ability to do a job that I loved, and I felt like I was designed for. You know, it was an absolute calling for me to do this kind of job, you know, and it was taken away like that. So yeah, took me a while. Took me quite a while to figure out that that actually you can rebuild. You can still help people. You can still be a valuable person. You know, you can still be useful, and all of that stuff, because, you know, everything associated with your job, and I think especially a job that, you know, it was like a calling, as I said, for me. Whenever something like that's gone, it literally removes or breaks you down completely, you know. It breaks you down to the point where you don't feel like you're able to do anything, or you don't feel like you're of any value or of any use whatsoever. And of course, like, that on top of having mental health issues already, then yeah, that was a tough time. So anyway, I don't know where all that came from. Obviously it's been on my mind a little bit. But yeah, so now really what I suppose I wanted to say is, sorry, Molly just came in. If I'm looking over that way, it's because she's just appeared. Yeah, so now that I am, you know, I'm able to still help people and teach people how to actually work online, to remind people that you are still valuable. Doesn't matter, you know, if you've got a disability or health issues or anything like that. Doesn't matter if you can't work in the traditional way. And now, now I can see if I had done this, if I had done this from the time I left school, I would be so much happier. My life would be, you know, exactly what I want it to be. I would have time to spend with people that I wanted to spend time with. I could do all of the things that I enjoyed doing, you know, just going out, spending time in the garden or walking through a forest or walking along a beach or any of those kinds of things. And that, of course, doing the things, having the time to do the things that are nurturing to yourself, and you know, spending time with people that, you know, that you love and that you enjoy being with, and all of that kind of stuff. That's what's important in life, isn't it? It's not about the fact that, you know, I can buy the next flashy car or a designer handbag or what. Not that I've ever been into designer stuff at all, but anyway, you know, that's not what life's about. Life is about being happy, and you don't get happiness from buying stuff. You get happiness from your experiences and from being able to appreciate, like, all the little things, and being able to, you know, admire nature. That this is for me anyway, being able to admire nature and you know, watching animals and creatures, you know, any little creatures running about in the forest, and all that is pure joy for me. You know, watching birds, listening to them singing, all of that is just pure joy for me. And now what I'm doing is I'm finally getting to build a life, a proper life, you know, where I don't have to go and be abused by people who don't have the same opinion as I do, that just because I don't fit into a little box that they say that I'm supposed to fit into, you know, that because I care about people rather than money and all that kind of stuff, you know, that makes such a difference to your life. You have no idea until you've actually been there. And I guess that's where I was going, you know. It's like being able to help people who are in the same kind of situation as myself. And that means, you know, anybody with health issues, or, you know, feeling like you can't do it, or have been through a job and just, you know, you've been badly treated, or you just can't work for whatever reason, or, you know, any of those things are not important, because you can just create your own life. You can create your own lifestyle. You can build a much superior one. You can build a much superior life by working online and you know, working the way you want to work, rather than having to listen to other people say you have to do it this way, you know, whatever, or, you know, how dare you take 2 weeks off sick even though you were in hospital and on the critical list. Okay, I wasn't on the critical list, but you know what I mean. The doctor, as soon as he's seen me, rushed me straight into hospital. I bypassed everybody, you know, straight into hospital. And as soon as I got back to work, how dare you take 2 weeks off? What? I mean, hello? What kind of an organisation, especially one that is supposed to be a caring organisation, says things like that? You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm going to stop waffling on now because I don't even know how long I've been talking. My goodness, 20 minutes. Yeah, I can't see without my glasses. So, yeah, I've been talking for like 20 minutes. But, yeah, I'm just going to go back and say what I said right at the very beginning. Which way do I go? Can I go up that way? Oh, you can't see it now. Follow your dreams, because they know the way. Okay, that's all from me, and I have no idea what I've been talking about. But, sure, hopefully you enjoyed it anyway. Take care. Bye.